New at 10, a Cleveland family wants more answers surrounding the circumstances of their son's drowning.
Plus, fire devastates a part of Mississippi history where cabins at the Neshoba County Fair burned to the ground.
From the Delta's #1 station, you're watching ABC6 News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Mike Sands.
And I'm Tanya Carter. Today is Monday, May 9th, 2011.
Well, new at 10, a local family seeks answers to the drowning death of their son. They say the Leake County investigation just isn't providing them with the justice they and their now deceased loved ones deserve. ABC6 News reporter Lakia Scott visited the family today at their home in Cleveland and has the story.
According to the Stokes family, their son Michael Stokes was pronounced dead on Sunday, May 1st, from what Leake County authorities ruled an accidental drowning. But the family says all evidence points to foul play.
Michael can't swim. He would never jump off a bridge, never.
When we was at the funeral home, when we seen his body, he had a black mark around his neck, and it looked like he either was hung, and his neck was broke.
Officials say, according to 3 witnesses, the 33-year-old jumped into the LaButcha Creek, never coming back up. But the family says they're not buying the story and feel the witnesses who were hanging out with Michael the night he died have something to hide.
I feel like it wasn't investigated because it just took the word of 3 people that were there. And if I was going to murder somebody with 2 more people, we'd have it set up before the law got there, and we're going to tell what's what.
Actually pick these people up, put them in separate rooms, give them a lie detector test, question them in separate rooms, and he would see.
But this is a certainty the Stokes say the investigation failed to provide. But today the family says more evidence has surfaced, giving them even more of a reason to believe that their son's death was not an accident.
The night that he died, I checked his credit card, I checked all the withdrawals and stuff that he drawed out of it. The night after he died, they had went to an ATM machine, tried to get $120 off.
So was it murder or an accident? This was the question haunting this family the past week, and they say they just need answers in an attempt to restore their peace of mind.
I ain't been able to work since none of this happened. Feel like I got about 900 pounds laying on my chest at all times. I just want something to give me some ease.
In Cleveland, Lakia Scott, ABC6 News.
Now, Leake County officials tell ABC6 News there were no indications of bruises on the body. They also say they have no evidence pointing to a need to investigate further, but Sheriff Wagner adds he has no problem reopening the investigation in the event sufficient evidence is provided. Well, in other news, Cleveland police say a 17-year-old girl was sexually assaulted Friday at a local grocery store in Cleveland. Police say the woman walked into a restroom of the grocery store and was followed by a 19-year-old man. He then attempted to rape the victim, holding her against her will before she managed to break away from him and run for help. The man was caught shortly thereafter and arrested by Cleveland police on Highway 61 and 1st Street. The suspect is currently in jail, where a judge was expected to hear his case today.
In Sunflower County, an 18-wheeler truck crashes into an auto dealer's lot on Highway 82, leaving a path of destruction. Now, authorities say the truck ran off the road, knocking down 2 light poles and damaging 6 vehicles on Selector Motors dealership lot. Now, Entergy electric crews came out to repair the damages from the collision. The driver has been transported to Jackson Hospital by helicopter, and his injuries are not known at this time. Indianola police are still investigating this accident. Well, new at 10, the Neshoba County Fairgrounds was a literal hot spot this morning as fire ripped through more than a dozen of the ground's iconic cabins. Statewide reporter Mike McDaniel was on the scene and explains a big loss could have been even bigger.
In a place known for its fiery political speeches, a fire of another sort, a more literal one, kicked up Monday morning in Neshoba County. And all Kevin Warren and his family could do is watch.
We're kind of still stunned.
As their 20-year-old 3-story cabin went up in flames.
You could tell there was one story still about there. Yeah, it was about on the ground.
The flames ripped through at least 15 cabins in the so-called new section before firefighters could stop them, leaving nothing but memories left behind for folks who call this place their home away from home.
You can leave stuff on your porches or whatever. Nobody gonna bother anything, you know, just family, I guess.
Firefighters were on the scene for hours, making sure the flames didn't spread to other cabins, which are less than a few feet away.
The fire departments here that responded out here did one heck of a job. They knocked down the fire, and consequently we didn't lose more cabins than we did, because according to what I've been able to find out, we could have lost a lot more than just 15.
With less than 2 months to go before this fair kicks off, the folks who lived inside those cabins say they're not going to let a little fire smoke out tradition.
Most of the cabins are only occupied during the fair, which is set for late July. And since the grounds are currently closed, fire investigators say there weren't very many people in danger. Now, folks like Kevin Warren will have to start again, keeping a family tradition alive.
We're going to build back regardless, you know, because there ain't nothing like the Neshoba County Fair, you know.
Now, official cause to the fire won't be determined until tomorrow morning, since investigators have to wait until the site cools off. Now, the fair itself, as with show business, must go on and is still scheduled as normal.
Well, 3 federal judges will hear arguments Tuesday in a Mississippi redistricting lawsuit. The judges said late last month they're inclined to order the temporary use of state, House, and Senate maps discussed during the recent legislative session. The judges said if they issue that order, it would be only for the 2011 election. After that, legislators would have to draw maps to be used the rest of this decade. On Tuesday, the judges will hear arguments from all sides about why they should or should not do what they're considering. The 122 Mississippi House districts and 52 Senate districts are updated after every census to reflect population changes.
Well, in flood news, work started today at the Central Avenue entrance over the Mississippi Mainline levee with the sandbagging operation. Now, the city of Greenville is assisting the Mississippi Levee Board in sandbagging the Central Avenue entrance to the city lakefront. The sandbagging and road blockage started today and will continue until the levee area is nearly as high as the levee top. Workers have been dumping tons of sand into a concrete enclosure, then tamping and more tamping of sand outside the enclosure area in order to compact the sand and close the opening. Now, once work is completed at Central Avenue, then workers will duplicate the efforts at the Main Street entrance to the city lakefront.
Engineers and the levee board have put up HESCO bags as a precautionary measure. Right now, the river is cresting at 64.5 in Greenville. The lowest point on the levee is at 68. The actual top of the levee is 75. Right now, the levee board and the Corps of Engineers and the city of Greenville, we are assisting them in blocking off Main Street and Central Street entrances to the levee.
Now, again, the river is expected to crest at 64.5 feet. Which is about 8 feet lower than the top of the levee. Officials do not expect the water to reach the sandbagged area. Well, new at 10, Mississippi Governor Haley Barbour said watching Memphis is like watching a pig come down a python. Downriver, they're wondering what's next and if the levees will hold what's being called man's puny efforts against the mighty Mississippi. Jim Avalar is where the water is pounding the levees tonight.
This is the biggest threat to the massive levee system protecting Memphis. Ground zero for the Army Corps of Engineers.
This is a sand boil.
A sand boil, a fountain of bubbling water on the dry side of the levee. A danger sign that the Mississippi is finding its way beneath the levee system.
We think that this is probably one of the more significant threats to the levee.
This is basically nothing. I mean, it's not even a puddle down the bottom.
They're looking for 4 distinct threats to a levee and flood wall system like the one keeping the Mississippi out of the streets of Memphis. First, overtopping. That's lapping over the top. The Army Corps says that threat has passed, and in fact, the river could rise another 6 feet before going over the flood wall. Second, erosion of the levees. Tonight, those dirt berms remain strong. Then the flood walls protecting downtown. They too appear to be holding. The fourth and final threat are those sand boils, even now eroding the levees from underground.
We're going to wait until the water goes down a whole lot more, and then we'll celebrate success.
The Mississippi surged past Cairo, Illinois, where the Army Corps blew up a levee to relieve pressure and flooded farmland. Now the river is cresting in Memphis today. Then it's expected to be at full height in Vicksburg, Mississippi, by Wednesday morning, and crest in Baton Rouge on Thursday. New Orleans opened its floodgates today, saturating farmland but saving the city from high water expected Friday.
If we didn't have the elements that were put in place in 27 there today, this would be a massive disaster that would dwarf Hurricane Katrina. It would be easily the most enormous disaster in American history.
Those are the stakes the levees so far holding and holding back the Mississippi. Jim Avila, ABC News, Memphis.
Now, for those south of Memphis, it is a waiting game with the river. Officials are keeping the public informed on a daily basis on the status of the rising water. Well, new at 10, got a great flooding photo or video? Then share it with our viewers. Send us your video or pictures via email at newsroom@wabg.com. Be sure to include your name, address, and a brief description of the photo. Well, Congressman Benny Thompson, along with representatives from state and federal agencies, meet with concerned residents today at the Washington County Convention Center. Thompson today touring the flooded areas by helicopter before addressing a full house of interested and concerned residents who came out to hear from a variety of representatives with some involvement in the emergency status of the rising Mississippi River, as the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and Mississippi Levee Board representatives joined other officials to update people on where things stand now and in the weeks to come.
Historic flood, one like we've never seen before. So what we're able now to say exactly where the water will go, but also what people need to do. Now is the time for the people in that area to be flooded, to pack their possessions, to make the ability for them to move those items to another area, but also to contact their local officials. So
now, the entire meeting was televised here on WABG.
And if you missed today's live broadcast of the meeting, then we will rebroadcast the Congressional Flood Briefing meeting held at the Washington County Convention Center right after this broadcast tonight at 10:35 p.m. on Delta Fox 10. Well, still to come after the forecast tonight, one man featured previously on Manhunt Monday is now wanted for other crimes. Find out more in just a moment.
And later in sports, highlights as St. Joe looks to advance to the 1A North State. But first, ABC6 Chief Meteorologist Christopher Mathis is standing by with the latest on a very muggy night here in the Delta. Chris?
Mike, we should drop into the 60s before the sun comes up, but it's going to be hot tomorrow afternoon. We'll talk about that and rain chances for late this week next on ABC6 News at 10 o'clock.
Weather from the #1 news station in the Delta.
This is our Alpha Insurance Skycam in Cleveland on a nice clear night at Delta State University. Very quiet weather all across the Delta and surrounding areas tonight. There's a lot going on up north though. Let's look at our radar view. All kinds of weather showing up here. Now, first of all, the pink box in Montana. Southern sections of Montana here. This is actually a winter storm warning. They're expecting snow there. Already some snow falling in parts of Wyoming where you see these blue colors, and some of that mixed in with rain too in Idaho and Montana. Cold rain or maybe some sleet here north of Billings in Montana. And then we've got severe weather near Mount Rushmore. Severe thunderstorm watches through much of South Dakota. Flash flood and severe thunderstorm warnings and even some tornado warnings. There's one close to the Capitol Pier there and another tornado warning down near the Nebraska and South Dakota border. The tornado threat usually does migrate northward as we get into May. Most of the tornadoes and severe thunderstorms start to take place up in the central and northern states, although that's not to say we're completely done with it here in the Delta, as we probably will see at least some scattered thunderstorms again late this week. Weather watchers tonight are warm for this time of year, middle and upper 70s. Called in shortly before the newscast. Johnny Moore in Cleveland has 79. Officially in Greenville, it's 76 at 10 o'clock, and we've got a warm wind blowing out of the south, 9 miles per hour. Dew points are high too. The relative humidity is up at 77%, and it's 75 now in Greenwood, just a 3 mile per hour south wind. 82% humidity though. That heat index got into the 90s today and certainly will again the next couple of days. In fact, actual temperatures may very well hit 90 here in the Delta tomorrow afternoon. Today we got to 87 in Greenville and 88 in Greenwood. Record highs for this date are 91 and 90. Morning lows 65 at both locations. We set a record low in Greenwood just 1 year ago today, down at 48 degrees. Not any 40s on the map tonight. In fact, some places are still close to 80. Memphis has 79, 77 in Clarksdale. Meridian has cooled off pretty nicely, down to 69, but it's pretty stuffy west of us. Monroe and Shreveport both have 81 still, and it's 82 tonight out at Mena, Arkansas. Not much active weather at all anywhere across the south. There is one batch of light rain from near Dallas and Fort Worth down towards San Antonio. Nothing real heavy with that, and I think that will stay out of our area for a while. Probably going to be Thursday before we see the scattering of rain and thunderstorms. And right now that doesn't look like widespread rain, but we'll have the chance for a shower or a thunderstorm not only Thursday and Friday, but maybe into the weekend too. Here's our forecast for tonight. Mostly clear, with a low of just 67 and the south winds continuing generally between 5 and 10 miles per hour. Sunny and hot tomorrow, the afternoon high at 90. That would tie the record high for tomorrow in Greenville if we hit 90 degrees. We've not done that yet this year at either Greenville or Greenwood. Haven't hit 90 yet. We usually do a few times in May though. South to southwest winds tomorrow will keep the air blowing nicely, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Maybe a little more cloud cover Wednesday. That could hold us in the upper 80s. It's going to be humid again though. Very slim chance for a shower Wednesday, but at least some scattered rain and thunderstorms expected Thursday into Thursday night and Friday, gradually turning a little cooler. Friday's high 82, and over the weekend, daytime highs upper 70s to near 80, but there still could be a shower or thunderstorm in a few spots Saturday and again Sunday. Next Monday looks nice and dry with a high of 77 and lows getting back into the upper 50s.
You said there was a lot of activity up north. I didn't know we were going that far up north, but I tell you, that's interesting.
I had to look a long way to find anything worth talking about tonight. I think you've covered the flooding. You and Mike and the reporters have covered that very well, so not much I can add to it.
All right, then thank you so much there, Chris. Well, next on ABC 6 News at 10, one man wanted on Manhunt Monday is going from bad to worse in his crime spree. The story's coming up next.
Then in sports, a local product continues nailing down victories for the Mississippi State Bulldogs. But first, here's a look at your river stages.
From the Delta's #1 station, you're watching ABC 6 News.
Welcome back. A manhunt Monday fugitive once wanted for questioning and a burglary is now wanted in 2 unrelated crimes. Autry Allen is the identified target. The U.S. Marshals, the Mississippi Department of Corrections, and LaFleur County Sheriff deputies are looking for the Greenwood man. Now, Allen is wanted in connection with an April 12th burglary of a business on Highway 82, where authorities say he stole 3 air conditioning units, a trailer, and a large amount of copper tubing. Now, the Mississippi Department of Corrections also wants to get their hands on Allen for parole violations stemming from a burglary and an armed robbery. There's also an outstanding domestic violence warrant for him as well with the Greenwood Police Department. So, if you have any information on the whereabouts of the Autry Allen, you are urged to call the LaFleur County Sheriff's Department at the number you see there on your screen, 662-453-5141. or the Greenwood LaFleur Carroll Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS or 1-800-222-8477. Remember, they only need your information and not your name. Sports is coming up next with Mike Sands.
Hunt Monday, brought to you by Mississippi Delta Community College Law Enforcement Training Academy.
Sports from the #1 news station in the Delta.
Welcome back. Well, St. Joe tonight trying to reverse a trend in their 1A North semifinal best-of-3 series with West Union, hosting the Eagles tonight in Greenville in decisive Game 3 in a series where the home team had yet to win. To the home of the Irish for a do-or-die Game 3, picking things up bottom 4, and a big inning for St. Joe. Bases loaded, and they go with the squeeze play. Terry Bailey pushes up the first baseline, run scores, then the throw wild to first. Another run comes in. Bailey to second as the Irish take a 7-2 lead. Then 2 batters later, Steven Terracina drives one to the gap in right center, brings Bailey around to score. It's a 6-run fourth for the Fighting Irish. They lead it 10-2. And then in the 6th, the exclamation point. Raines Rester, perhaps the biggest 10th grader you'll ever see in your life, drives it over the left field wall. The 2-run shot providing our final score as St. Joe beats West Union 13-6 as this young Irish squad remarkably heads to the 1A North State.
Great, you know, we were all sophomores, lost a lot of seniors last year, crucial seniors, and if you would have told me at the beginning of the season, the way we started out, we'd be going for North State, I would call somebody crazy, but it feels good right now.
The main thing we wanted to win for is just to keep our season going. You know, we all came out practicing hard yesterday. The main thing was to keep on playing. We weren't ready to stop playing baseball.
Well, St. Joe now faces Faulkner in the 1A North Half Championship with Game 1 here in Greenville Thursday night. College baseball, where Caleb Reed continues to save the day for Mississippi State. Bayou Academy grad earning his 9th save yesterday for the Bulldogs, pitching 3 1/3 innings of scoreless relief against Tennessee. That strikeout to end the game, 1 of 5 for Reed yesterday against the Volunteers. On the season, Reed leads state with a minuscule .88 ERA and over 41 innings and 22 appearances, with 49 strikeouts while holding opponents to a batting average of .191. Greenville Weston, where the Hornet football team prepares for a spring scrimmage with the best the state has to offer. Greenville Weston on the practice field late this afternoon in preparation of Thursday's scrimmage with mighty South Panola, a team you may have heard a thing or two about in winning state championships in 7 of the last 8 years. But head coach Todd Lott isn't necessarily concerned as to how his Hornets right now measure up with South Panola.
Very well, and we have worked extremely hard this spring, both players and coaches. So, where we are in relation to South Panola is, that's maybe a good question that the community wants to ask. But what we're concerned about is making sure that our program continues to get better each and every day, and that this will help us in playing competition like this. Obviously, I think helps you get better.
Thursday's scrimmage is free of charge, kicking off at 5 o'clock, although they do hope many take the chance Thursday to join the Hornets Booster Club. Meanwhile, Mississippi State head coach Dan Mullen visits the Delta Wednesday night as part of the 12-city 2011 Road Dogs Tour. Mullen will speak at dinner at the Greenville Golf and Country Club beginning at 6 o'clock. Tickets are $25, just $15 for kids 12 and under. Autographed items and even season tickets will be raffled off at the event. And for more information or to purchase tickets, contact a member of the Mississippi State Washington County Alumni Chapter. Finally, NBA playoffs tonight. The Grizzlies right now with a early third quarter lead over Oklahoma City, 57-49. That last look was with about 90 seconds into the third quarter. Zach Randolph already with 18 points. Memphis, long way to go, but if they win, take a 3-1 series lead. Meanwhile, in the East, Miami going home with a chance to close out the Celtics in Game 5. 35 from LeBron, 28 from Wade, and 20 from Chris Bosh. Yes, that Chris Bosh as Miami wins Game 4 in Boston in overtime. 90. And one more note, Tanya Carter. Ole Miss's Miles Hamblin, the SEC Baseball Player of the Week. He was instrumental in the series win for the Rebels over South Carolina.
All right, then. So you have the Thunder tonight.
I did pick them at 6 o'clock, and it looked really bad for a while because the Grizzlies, I think, were up like 15 or so in the second quarter. A late run for the Thunder to end the first half pulled it a little closer.
All right, then. And it looks like the Celtics are going bye-bye. Is Shaq even playing?
He has been playing a little bit, not much, though.
Okay. All right, then, Mike. Thank you so much, dear. We'll be right back.
And we welcome you back with a look at NBC 33's late night lineup, The Tonight Show, Late Night, Last Call, and Poker After Dark.
And here on ABC 6, you can enjoy Nightline at 10:35, Jimmy Kimmel Live at 11:06, Dr. Oz at 12:06, Access Hollywood at 1:05, and TMZ at 1:34.
Oh, look at that, the Delta Fox 10. Now, currently they're showing the Side Sleeper infomercial, but that's about to end. And then at 10:35, we'll have a replay of the congressional flood briefing. Now, Tanya thinks that might run for 2 hours or more, so anything after that is up for grabs.
Editor's cut, maybe. This one got
Yes.
chopped down.
We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.